Good evening and welcome to the week 8 lecture video. Let's go ahead and take a look at the agenda for this week. Okay, so once again, as I always like to cover at the beginning of my lectures, my approach to research methods is a three-pronged approach. The first prong is theory. And how do you get this? You read the textbook, you take the quiz, we go over the quiz in these lecture videos. And that's how you get a broader understanding of research methods theory. So that's very important. And the second prong is SPSS. Some of you have had SPSS, others of you have not had SPSS. Okay, so I provide my data analysis video so you can kind of see the process of doing analyses in SPSS and writing interpretations, right? And that's key for this class because you'll have to understand how to write interpretations for the results section of your research papers. Okay, so that's the reason why we're doing that. And again, if you ever have any questions, feel free to let me know. The third prong is learning how to write a research paper. Okay, so again, all these lectures are focused on writing the research paper. The discussion forums are focused on writing the research paper, and the other assignments, which are the rough drafts. I should probably change that because I always say other assignments, but I mean rough drafts. Those are all focused on writing the research paper. And the goal of this class and the way I designed it is every single week you're going to write one aspect of the research paper. So by the time we get to the last week, your research paper, will be written. Okay, and I think it's going well so far, and this is the method I've used for a few classes at this point. So regarding the SPSS lecture notes, again, if you ever have any questions, feel free to email me about the interpretations, and I'd be happy to help. I'm an expert in statistical interpretations and representation of data, and I'm an expert in research methods. So definitely use me as a resource. Let's go ahead and take a look at the week 7 discussion. So again, what I had you do in the discussion that was due this past Sunday is I had you work on the hypothesis section of your introduction section. So the hypothesis section is the third and last part of the introduction section. And what are you supposed to do in the hypothesis section? You're supposed to briefly summarize all of the findings from part 2, which is all of your article summary. So you briefly summarize all of the findings. And what I was telling people in office hours who dropped by, I said, well, focus on one sentence per article summarizing their findings. So, by the end of the class, you'll need 10 article summaries. So you should have 10 result sentences. So that would be about right. So about 10 result sentences in a paragraph, and then you connect your summary of the findings with the phrase, based on these findings, it is hypothesized that, and then that's where you list the 3 hypotheses that I've previously approved. Okay, so part 2, I just had you revise part 1 of your introduction section. And again, you've already done that before. Basically, you're summarizing your main variable, which is the variable that occurs in all of your hypotheses. So you're kind of introducing that topic in about a page. And again, what I'm telling people in office hours is look to the articles that you're finding. They have really good resources. They're probably saying really interesting things. You can borrow things from all those papers, just paraphrase them and cite them. Okay, and that's you introducing your main variable in the context of psychology. So that's key, right? So in the context of psychology specifically. And then at the end of that first part, you're writing your objective statement. And your objective statement is just saying the objective of your study is to examine all of the hypotheses that you're examining, except you're stating it not very specifically hypothesis by hypothesis, but you're just noting the variables. So for example, if your variables are gender, race, openness, correlated with support for same-sex marriage, you would say the purpose of the study is to examine the relationship between gender and support for same-sex marriage, race and support for same-sex marriage, openness and support for same-sex marriage. Whereas when you state your hypotheses in part 3, your hypotheses are very specific predictions based on past research, right? Okay, so that was the week 7 discussion. So then let's go ahead and take a look at the introduction rough draft. So I'm just going to go to home, which is going to take us to the module section. We're on week 8. When it loads, of course, and I should probably share it. That's probably a good idea, right? Okay, and there we have it. So now you see what I see. Here it is. Okay, and then all you're doing here is you're putting part 1 of the introduction section, part 2 of the introduction section, part 3 of the introduction section together in a rough draft form. And then I'm going to be giving you feedback at this point. Once again, for the final paper, you'll need 10 article summaries. Okay, at this point, you may only have 3, but submit as many as you can. Okay. So let me share the agenda once again. Okay, we're good. So what are we going to talk about today? So we've been spending the past few weeks on the introduction section. Today we're going to talk about the first part of the method section. Okay, and it's called the participant section. And what is the method section trying to do? Okay, remember, okay, you need to put this in your head because sometimes students get confused. The study that we're working with is personality and gay marriage attitudes. You need to pretend like you are the one who created that study, that you are the one who administered the study. Okay? So now everything in your article summaries, that stays in your introduction section. Your study is personality and gay marriage attitudes. Fair enough? And that's what the method section is about. The method section is about you describing the study that you did. And the first part of the method section is talking about the participants. Basically, who are the people that were administered your study? Okay. And this is just a template here. I believe the data is different. I should check. Yeah, it's going to be slightly different data. So this is just a template. I've included the data in this agenda that you need to use to create your participant section, okay? So when you're talking about the participant section, okay, of a research paper, you need to start by noting the total number of participants. So the template says 416, but when you look down at your data, so this is the data you're going to use that's in this agenda, again, this is the week 8 agenda, you'll see that the total number of participants is 554. Okay, so it says participants 554. Again, it says missing 4 just because 4 didn't report a gender for whatever reason. But as far as the total number of participants, it's 554. Pardon me. So, and then what's your gender breakdown? What you would write is you would write 241 males, 309 females, and 4 did not report. Okay? Mean age is the next thing you write, and your data's here. So what's your mean age? We just skip down a little bit. So mean again is the average. Your mean age is 19.09 right there. So you'd make sure that that says 19.09. The standard deviation, we have to go back. The standard deviation is 1.49. So you would write 1.49. And you could just leave it as from an introductory psychology course at the Southern California University, okay? Who participated in the study for course credit. Because that's true. That's what went on in this study, okay? We used the psychology research pool to collect the data, okay? The sample consisted of an ethnically diverse population, okay? So where do you get your percentages? Again, this is all your data here. You're going to look at this one, okay? 6.3% African American, 37.9% Asian American, 11.9% Caucasian, 30.3% Hispanic Latino, 6.9% mixed, 5.6% other, and 1.1 decided not to report for whatever reason. So they were missing data, okay? So you could just call them other. So this being said, based on this template and the fact that you all are using the same data, right? Because we're all using personality, gay marriage attitudes, okay? All of your participant sections should look identical, okay? So that should help. Okay. So if yours doesn't look like everyone else's in the discussion, there's something going wrong. Either they're wrong or you're wrong. Oops. Okay. Assignments due on Sunday by 11:59 p.m. Let's look at the week 8 discussion. So that's going to have to do with the participant section. So let's take a look at that. Give me a chance to pull it up here. Okay. Let me share my screen. The usual, right? Okay. The week 8 discussion. And there it is. It's everything we just talked about. Write the participant section of your paper. Be sure to watch the week 8 lecture video, which is this video before you begin. What's the overall number of participants, right? We figured that out. The gender breakdown, racial breakdown, and age breakdown. So it's as simple as that. And again, you're all using the same template. You're all using the same data, which is in the agenda, okay? Every single participant section should be identical. So this is an easy one. Okay, compare what they wrote to what you learned in the week 8 lecture video, okay? So when you respond to someone, does their participant section look like yours? If it doesn't, is there something they need to fix or something you need to fix? Also, please let them know if something's unclear and if possible, suggest a correction. Okay, and again, remember, your in this case, your part 1 needs to be as long as the template, no more, no less, and your response should be approximately 100 words. In this case, though, it may be shorter, but again, you need to be pointing out whether or not that they matched the template, they matched the data, okay? So whatever it takes, this one might be shorter than 100 words, but just make sure you're doing your job as a peer reviewer, okay? It's important, okay? Because if you made a misstep on this participant section, I'm sure you would hope that one of your classmates pointed it out, okay? So that you can fix it. Okay, cool. Let's go back to the agenda real quick. Okay, so the week 8 discussion is due Sunday by 11:59 p.m., as well as quiz 4 covering topics 34 through 44 in the book, as well as the introduction rough draft. Okay, I'm finishing up. So I've seen a few resubmissions of the article summaries. I will make sure those are all all approved by tomorrow at the latest. Okay, and then just put your introduction rough draft together, and I'm looking forward to providing you feedback on that. I think this is going really well. Y'all are doing a really great job, and what this looks like is by the end of the term, you all are going to have a beautiful research paper. Okay, just because every single week, gosh, what is it, like 17 weeks? Every single week, you'll have created one part of that paper. And there are multiple points where you'll have received feedback, including hypotheses. That was the first time. Article summaries. That was the second time I gave you detailed feedback. Introduction rough draft. There'll be methods rough draft, results rough draft, discussion and tables and figure rough draft. So you're getting a lot of feedback along the way. So I expect you all, as long as you just keep up with everything, you all are going to do great. Once again, as always, if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. I'm always very happy to help, or drop by office hours. Okay, have a great week. Take care.